комнату, ой, посадила его на кровать, по-французски говорить.
Вообще, welcome to Russia. Первый ли раз вы в России, ребят? Знаю, что не первый. Первый ли раз вы в Калининграде?
Yeah, this is, I mean, for me, my first time.
First time?
Yeah, first time in Kaliningrad, yep.
Yep.
Вы сейчас, у вас был чек, как вам площадка, на которой вы разогревались, как вам калининградские организаторы, и кто вообще, кто из вас занимается менеджментом в группе, кто коммуницирует с организаторами в России?
I mean, I thought it was really unique when we first got there. It just, it's exactly what I had hoped for, just a really cool, awesome underground feel of a venue here in Russia, and sounds big, sounds great. Just, yeah, it feels like it's its own culture, this like underground culture that's really exciting.
Yeah, and the accommodations couldn't be better. Like, everybody welcomed us and fed us and took care of us like little babies that we are.
The accommodations have been amazing.
Yeah, that's it. Super pro.
Can you talk about your manager or your agent? Do you have your agent here? I mean, not here.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, we never thought we would come to Russia, so he got us in contact with you and with Sanya, and so far it's been great. The flight was easy, and we're ready to play.
I think for the history of number 12, just never, this is the first, you know, we did come off of all these Europe dates, but this is the first time number 12 has ever been to Russia, so this is a big mile marker for me in my life too, to be here with the band, something that, you know, has been going on for a long time, so it's exciting.
Назад вы говорили, что хотели бы узнать творчество каких-то русских бэндов, но еще ни с кем не знакомы из исполнителей из России. Как положение с этим? Что-то произошло? Вы с кем-то познакомились, с какой-то командой?
I personally haven't heard any Russian bands, or I'm not aware yet of any Russian bands, so I'm definitely very curious to hear what's going on. I know there's a lot of great musicians in Russia, so I'd love to hear some.
Do you know something special here?
The only band I know is Reka, and they played a few shows with my other band a few years ago.
No, but I think because we're here for the first time, I think we're all just excited to get fully immersed in everything, from the food and the local cultures and the music. So hopefully we can learn some new bands to take home with.
Что тогда с англоязычными командами? Есть ли у вас в будущем какие-то ближайшие проекты и коллаборации с какими-то американскими группами?
I mean, we got some stuff, but I don't think it's ready to be announced quite yet.
Yeah. I mean, we just did the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah.
we did their final European tour, and that was obviously historical for everybody. But the stuff that we always have sort of planned in the future is always in development. So nothing sneaking out yet.
Okay.
Я не могу назвать себя поклонницей того направления, которое вы исполняете. Я вас послушала, мне это близко, я бы хотела сходить на ваш концерт, потому что я знаю, какая там происходит энергетика. Но можете в 2 словах описать, о чем ваша музыка, какой ваш основной посыл, о чем вы поете, о чем вы исполняете?
We don't understand what's going on either.
Yeah, these guys don't know either. They're probably curious as well.
Good question.
At least lyrically for me, I won't speak musically, but I think Naruto has always been just almost like mini movies. I try to write each song almost like this story that I really wanted to read, and it's you know, a lot of it's real, just experiences that I have experienced, and then I try to, whenever, you know, Alex is working on the music, I try to have those songs sort of speak to me and sort of instigate feelings of a story that would inspire me to write something like that, and then almost like put that passion and power and those emotions into people to, where when they read it back, it's more like poetry, not so much just the typical metal band talking about, you know, the apocalypse coming and just doomsday happening, but more just like a poetic outlet of aggression. We had another singer, Justin, and we wrote a lot of the lyrics together, but yeah, so I would, now it's just gonna be me. Yeah. And then these guys all do other, I've never been in another band before. I've only been in Number 12. I've never been in another band. This is the only thing I've ever done musically, so I'll let these guys.
I'm in 2 other bands, one with Mike called Black Table, and I'm in another band called Dead Empires in New York.
Yeah, I'm also in another band from Germany called Downfall of Gaia.
After number 12 broke up, I ended up doing a solo project, Composite City, and like ambient experimental soundscapes, and then I also did another project that was more like world fusion type of stuff, instrumental also, called Warriors Kaleidoscope. So those were 2 other projects, and I continue to still work with them and do other projects. I'm also currently working on a couple other projects in the future.
Is it hard to play in different bands?
Yeah. It's a huge time commitment, and it takes a lot of, it's like draining emotionally because you're dealing with like 10 different people and everybody is, you know, entitled to an equal stake in everything that you're doing, and so it's a lot to balance, but it's worth it, you know, ultimately, because you get different outlets for different types of things. All 3 of the bands that I'm in are very different. All 3 of Mike's bands are very different, and so it's worth it even if it's difficult.
I think it's pretty easy. Each band has like a different like emotional outlet for me, so they all have their own purpose. So it's like a nice balanced thing at the moment.
Не могу не спросить, почему вы вернулись после 6-летнего отпуска от музыки в вашей команде. Чем вы занимались эти 6 лет? Как вы зарабатывали на жизнь? И почему вы решили вернуться обратно?
I think we should all remember to say we took a vacation.
Yeah.
A 7-year vacation.
A 7-year vacation.
No work.
That's a great time for a vacation. Well, we went on vacation. Everything in a nutshell, the last time we ever toured was in Europe. The last time we were officially still a band with just doing the band, it was in Europe, and that was the last time we toured, and we had decided it was just time to live outside of the band bubble. not just live in this world of music and see what other things were out there in the world. So we had agreed to sort of part ways and play a last show and have a very civil goodbye to each other, and everybody move on with their other endeavors, just because, at least for me, I know we all have our own different reasons, but for me it was all I did since I was 16. Just, it was this band. All the girlfriends were all disposable because of the band, and I had no friends. They were all disposable. Like, I didn't really have much of, no one wanted to deal with that. It was a lot to deal with, and I was already crazy as it was back then. So I think I just wanted to see what else was out there outside of the band, and then we decided to go on vacation.
Yeah, we started really young when we started working on this band, and like you said, it was my first band too that actually ended up doing really well, and at least in like an underground kind of level. And by the time we were in our mid-20s or so, I think we were all itching to do like other things and just explore a lot of the things that we never had time to do. So we finally, when we went on vacation, were able to to do these things, and I got into teaching. I ended up not only doing the projects that I mentioned earlier, but then teaching high school, teaching a lot of music privately, and just like big music high school like groups and stuff like that, and organizing festivals. And that's about what I focus my time with, just a lot of teaching and education.
I just wanted to leave music in general. I was just tired of listening to it. I wanted to just get away from music, so I jumped into the photography and film world completely and got into shooting, and then got into movie producing. Then I just missed my first love, music, and sort of the emptiness that I felt fulfilled at the time, but still there was a certain emptiness. So I kept nagging out Alex. I was like, man, we gotta stop dicking around. We gotta get the band back together. And we kept trying to get everyone together. The other guys were just like, it was like we would start up the emails, and then all of a sudden, like, Justin would reply, and then John would reply, and then Chris would reply, and then Alex. I was like, holy shit, this is gonna happen. And then a few months go by, and then nothing from anybody. And the only one who ever would still follow up is Alex. So at one point I was like, did we ever think about just not going back with the other guys and just doing this on our own, getting new guys? And that's when it got real. The vacation was coming to an end, and then we heard through the grapevine that, DJ was recommended by a number of friends of mine. So I stalked him for a little bit, and we finally got together, and then he brought in Mike, and then just things happened quite fast from that point, because it was like one day we were sort of texting, the next day we were up at Mike's practice space playing our first practice in 7 years, and that was just the beginning of last year ish. So that was sort of the time where it's like, you know what, like, if we're gonna do number 12, we gotta do it now. It's been 7 years. It's not gonna be 20 years of people being, hey man, I still can't wait to see number 12. It's just, it was just, facing reality. It's like, look, like, this was fun. We had a lot of fun. Things got a little crazy. Let's bring it back to being fun, and let's do it again. And, remember these good memories,
So it's worked.
Yeah, I mean, it's been about, no, not 2 years.
It's gonna be 2 years.
It's been 2 years since we started
Actually,
playing.
it's gonna be almost 2 years already. Holy shit.
It's taken some time to relearn all the old material and go back. I mean, we all think we've just matured a lot and think differently and see things differently. Getting to learn how to just work together and everything, just learn a whole new style with new members, and yeah, it takes time. So I know people are maybe anticipating new music and stuff, but we also have to like rebuild everything from scratch pretty much again. And but it's been great, the whole process, and it's amazing that 2 years already have gone by.
And we have new material. We just won't be playing it.
Or ever.
Yeah. It's
only on an album.
It's that difficult to play.
next
It's so
vacation
hard
it'll
that
be
we
released.
can't even play it.
So after their 6-7 years and 2 more.
Бывают ли у вас ссоры? Вы такие вообще спокойные чуваки, если честно, непонятно, какой стиль музыки вы играете. Ощущение, что у вас какая-то такая лирика, и вы очень спокойные. Бывают ли у вас склоки и ссоры? Кто у вас в команде самый экспрессивный, кого приходится иногда успокаивать? Как вы в целом расслабляетесь после концерта?
So you don't look like a regular metal band, maybe except you guys.
That's why we got them. To finally look like a real metal band.
Honestly, not really.
No.
Like, I get cranky and mad and upset about things, but it's all little bullshit, and it goes away fast. You
I
know?
think when we don't eat, everyone's a little cranky.
It's
We
wrong
get
to
hangry.
eat and don't sleep.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the magic of number 12 since day one is that's what makes number 12 what it is we're not all the same person. And that's not a bad thing. It's we find this common ground, but we all have, it's always been like that and it still continues. It's just evolved now where we always looked like a little girly emo band when we started. Everybody thought I was gay forever. Still.
You're not.
and so that's sort of adds to the eclecticness of how we're able to keep writing these songs. I mean, you know, people always say it's like they're like, oh, someone will say, hey, how do you describe number 12? It's like, you can't really describe it. It's just number 12. It's just different, you know. And I think that represents who we are personality-wise as well, where we all do come from very different backgrounds, but we all have very similar tastes as well. So as far as like the most emotional person, it's hard to say. I think we're all quite emotional. I mean, I think
we're emotional in different ways.
ways.
all of us.
Exactly.
Like we're emotional about different things.
Like I know I have a crazy part of me inside that is hard to control, and it's a very OCD thing, but it's something I just try to be very self-therapeutic with. And I know Alex has his own sort of, you know, things that
Alex,
but it's not like it's not necessarily like an emotional thing. I think it's just more of like
Probably be on a spiritual side.
yeah, his is more on the spiritual side. At least throughout the years that we've known each other, and you know, Mike and DJ. I think I think that they're like the I wouldn't say emotional. Like I think it's just more like you just party. they're the guys who bring the party. When we're like
Fucking aggravated.
when we're just like, all right, like let's work on this part. It's like let's just fucking party.
Yeah, man, it's easy. Blast beats.
Yeah.
Beers.
Simple.
But I think that's you know, again, I think that's another element that's just different that we've never had. I thought about, you know, when number 12 had ended, it was me, Alex, John Carroll on the drums, and then Chris. And I would look at some of the videos from then. I was like, man, it was just like everyone like they were just sort of just grooving in their own thing. But then like I thought about all the times it was just sort of very reserved, and then how it is now just feels like it's more of what our music is, what we always wanted to portray it as is crazy and wild and free-spirited, and it's representative of that now more than it ever was. So I feel like there's a certain there's a excitement to it now live that was never there before.
Я желаю вам классного концерта сегодня, классного концерта завтра и послезавтра, потому что вы едете в Москву и в Питер. И крутых вам впечатлений от России, от русской публики и от всего, что происходит вокруг вас.
She wish you a great concert here tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and the rest of the days. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. How do you say thank you?
Спасибо.
Thank you.
What is it?
Спасибо.
Spasibo.
Спасибо.
Spasibo.
Spasibo.
Спасибо.
Spasibo.
And another one, they did not remember.
On the next episode of Чикибарики.
Я довел до метро, посадил. Пока мы шли, ну, как я тебе сегодня уже и говорил, что в этот момент тебе становится стыдно за то, что ты, например, очень хуевое лето, погода дерьмо и вообще нет никаких тусовок. Ну, типа, чего? Эй.
Это не то, что...
Да, а мы вышли, он мне такой сказал, что в Петербурге такой заряженный воздух. Я думаю, у меня за эти вообще годы хоть раз такая мысль была, но нет.